Hey, you feel that? You are now tuned into You Feel That with Bryce the Third. Yo, and welcome to another episode of You Feel That with Bryce the Third, the best podcast there is for high-level entrepreneurs looking to learn how to master their emotions. Here is where we learn to become compassionate, understanding servant leaders one episode at a time. The big question is this: how do I, as an ambitious entrepreneur, learn to master my emotions in a way that allows me to continuously show up and do the next scary thing that could potentially take my career and life to the next level? I am, of course, your host, Bryce the Third. And if you're watching this podcast on YouTube, you can obviously see some changes, some differences going on here in life. Hold on. Wait a second. All right, it's official. It's lit. I got my candle and I got my tea. So we locked in now. But yeah, we're in my kitchen. Those of you who have been listening for a while are aware of the transitions that have been happening recently in my life. I moved places. This has been a vision board move. I love my kitchen. It's so beautiful and I love hanging out here. And I figured, well, why not bring you all here into my kitchen? So for those just listening to the audio, just feel the energy of the kitchen. Feel the energy of this tea in my hand. It's actually sleepy time tea, so hopefully my creativity will hit me in the show before this sleepy time tea hits me in the show. I got a candle with lavender. It smells wonderful in my kitchen. I just got done making some peanut butter chickpea curry, and I put that over some rice, and it was delicious. And I cleaned up, and I'm like, okay, we got to get an episode of this podcast in this week. And I just wanted to use this week to talk about, I think it's important, as always, for me to show up and show you my process as I'm building the process out. So right now, the studio is being built in a basement. And there's a lot of things with the move in my personal life and in my career that are kind of going on at the same time. And it is ample opportunity present in my life for me to put this show down and be like, you know what, that was cool. That was a fun thing that we did, and kind of keep it pushing. But I think this is a space in my life where previously there has been times where it's like, you know, I pulled something far, like I dug deep into something, and then I came to a couple of obstacles, I got through it, and then I hit a big obstacle that I just had no context for, no way to kind of keep pushing through, and I put it down. And so I just kind of wanted to not put it down this time in public and allow you all to see what that looks like, even if we got to record an episode in my kitchen. And I don't want to be authentic for authenticity's sake. I'm just fucking showing up, man. Like, this is what it looks like to show up, and it's gonna get beautiful. It's gonna get prettier, but first it got to be ugly first. So that is a big thing that I am holding on to as I continue to show up for you all. I'm showing up for me first and foremost, but I want to show up because I needed to see the people who I looked up to, who were giving me sound advice, like put that advice into practice. And so this is really what that is in the form of a podcast episode. And we're going to talk a little bit later in the episode about like what we're going to do moving forward. I got a special surprise for you all. But another thing in my personal life I wanted to talk about was this thing that's been happening. So even like in the beginning of this podcast, I wanted to tell you all, like, I got all these things going on. So, you know, it's hard for me to, you know, show up and give my all to this podcast and do this and do that. But that's not the case. I think authenticity would have me tell you all that I've kind of been doing a lot of what we consider would be nothing. Sitting around on a hammock, meditating, contemplating, being quiet, folding clothes, organizing stuff, cooking. And I haven't been a cooker up to this point, but it's been a meditation for me to like chop the ingredient, like not to, like I gotta cook because nobody else is gonna cook for me, and I gotta cook, and the whole time I'm kind of just rushing through it because I'm hungry and I gotta eat. But like really cooking, like a meditation, like how finely can I chop this garlic? How can I mince this garlic? Can I Google what minced garlic is? Can I take this slow? Can I enjoy the aromas of the garlic in the pan as it sizzles? We're in the kitchen. But this is what I just did. Like, I've been doing a lot of fucking nothing. And I think in the world that we live in, especially like when it comes to entrepreneurship, when it comes to creativity, I know one thing that I can feel is people will hit me up and be like, yo, Bryce, yeah, and I can even tend to do that. I can even tend to call people and be like, yo, if I haven't talked to you in a minute, so what you got going? And then people proceed to tell me, oh, I got this project I'm working on, or, oh, I'm putting this event together, or, oh, I'm doing this, or, oh, I'm doing that. And I feel like, what if I asked somebody and they told me I ain't doing shit? What if I'm gonna do that shit? Somebody called me and asked me, like, what have I been up to, what I got on the floor? I'm gonna tell you I ain't doing shit. And then even when I say it right now on camera, I still think in the back of my mind, but I am substantial. I am important. I am traveling. I got, I'm about to drive out to do a show, and then I'm about to come back, and then I'm about to fly out to do a conference, and I'm about to, it's like this justification, like, oh, this is why I'm important, so that that I'm somebody. And I think inherently we are all somebodies. Like, we're always fucking somebodies. We're always inherently whole and complete. But especially like in entrepreneurship and creativity, we can really identify with the things that we do. But I've learned so much in this time of like not doing shit, of sitting in the hammock, of putting things together, putting a fire pit together, of cooking and meditating and waking up and sweeping around the house and getting things together in my house. And then when things are together, keeping them up. Like, I've learned so much about what it is that I appreciate, and contentment. And in that contentment, when people call me for ideas, when organizations call me for ideas, when people call me to pick my brain, when I have to show up in a space because of the roles that I play in life, like, I feel fully able to show up and fully able to give my 100% all to what it is that I'm being called to do, because of the time where I wasn't spinning my gears. And, when I say that I'm cooking or I'm folding clothes, I'm not folding clothes and like thinking about how can I best show up. Like, I'm literally just folding clothes and giving my all to that. But the same goes for when I show up for you all. Like, when I come to this podcast and I tap in, when I'm working to be clear and authentic and transparent and open and honest and fucking human, like, I'm gonna dive in and I'm gonna give you my all, and the same with any organization who calls me and asks me, for tips and advice on storytelling or how to work social, or, how to create community, or how to market, or any other things that people will call me for. Same when I show up for my coaching clients. Like, I show up and give my all. So why wouldn't I show up and give my all to myself? Why wouldn't I show up and give 100% to my meditation practice versus sitting in practice and, wondering, what is going to happen if I don't send this email, or what is going to happen if, I don't show up? What is going to happen if I don't call this person? Or will I be as relevant if I'm not featured in this show? Like, we have so many concerts here in Detroit, and at my lowest, at my worst, I can feel so left out when, I see my friends on a show and I wasn't invited to that show, especially if I've done that show in the previous year or something like that. Like, damn, like, they ain't calling me. Like, am I not making enough noise? Am I not relevant enough? Am I not putting enough work in? And it's like, no, that's definitely not the case. But that low vibrational, spread myself everywhere, gotta hustle, gotta grind ass mentality and mindset and spirit set will have us think so and feel that way. And then we move in alignment with those thoughts and feelings, and then it becomes so. Then people was like, nah, don't call Bryce for this because bro be bugging, So ultimately, I think that this is an important thing to do. Like, do nothing sometimes. Like, fucking do nothing. Like, show up for yourself. If you're called to do nothing and turn off all of the music and sit in a room by yourself because you need solitude, like, do that. If you are called to sit in a hammock, then do that. And I used to think that, oh, if I stop, then I will lose momentum, or I will not be able to show up anymore like I used to. And it's like, of course you're not going to be able to show up anymore like you used to, because you're not the same person if we continue to grow. And showing up and missing the momentum that you've gained, I think us continuing to show up, period. Like when we wake up, that is a drop in the bucket of our momentum. So how can we use that to take advantage of our most valuable resource, time, and design the life that we desire? And sometimes in the life that we desire, we might be led to a season of rest. And in that rest is creativity. In that rest is strength. In that rest is productivity, because this is not for naught. Like this is something that is a part of your experience. I was talking to a friend earlier today, and he's going through some weight loss things, and he's working on his health and all type of stuff like that. And he had said something like, "Yeah, I fell off, but I'm back on it." And I can often feel like, oh damn, because I can struggle with sugar and all of the all the stories we tell ourselves. Anyways, I can quote unquote fall off the wagon or do this thing that is supposed to be like frowned upon for like this thing that I'm creating. But all in all, especially after like meditating and discovering more what awareness is, like it's all part of the journey. Like especially the fall offs, like that's a part of it. Like you're not in misalignment. This is your nature. It has been a good analogy for me when it comes to creating the life we create is like stopping a moving train. Like if a train is going 200 miles an hour in one direction, and then we decide we want it to go in the other direction, you're not going to be able to stop it and immediately make it go 200 miles in the other direction. It's going to take some slowing down that train. So if we are seeking in a new season to understand some of the callings that come with this new season, we're becoming different, and our train may be moving in a different direction. And so in order to get the train to move in the direction that we desire for the train to move in now, we might have to just slow it down a little bit. And in that process is going to be some friction. It's going to be the grinding on the rails. And sometimes that grinding on the rails is going to manifest in doing some of the old behaviors or doing some of the things that we don't desire. But that is no reason for us to beat ourselves up and, you messed up. You didn't do right. It's like, no, compassion would have us understand, oh, that's our nature. That's our nature. Do we think that we would stop doing that thing after so long of that being the way that we did the thing? For me, specifically in my life right now, is personal finance. And I'm getting better and better with it. I have a personal finance coach, and we've been working to like, I was actually looking at my budget, and I'm looking at all these line items, and I didn't feel like fucking crawling under a mattress and going to sleep for 3 days. So that's a win, but there's still some ways where it's like I'm out and I may spend more than I need to in my budget, but now I'm gaining and cultivating a new awareness. That doesn't mean that I'm failing and I need to beat myself up and I'm back on track. That means the track has always been there. I've always been on track. Speaking of always on track, I don't even know how we got there, but I think that's important too. And I'm just dropping jewels on the floor around what it is that I've been discovering recently. And this is an exemplification of everything that I talk about. We can't lose momentum if we continue to show up. And so this is the capacity to which I can show up for you right now. Showing up just like this, in my kitchen, and kind of scattered around all of the things that I've been learning recently, but still showing up. So the special announcement is this: I have some outcode guests coming up to be on You Feel That, and I'm super excited about where we're going to take it in this next season. I think what we're going to do is, I don't know if I'm going to make this season 1 and then what's coming up to be season 2, because we haven't been doing seasons thus far, but for the next 6 episodes, I'm going to run my favorite episodes thus far. We are 44, 45 episodes into the podcast. So there's a lot of episodes that if you just started listening to the podcast, you may have missed. A lot of cool guests that you may have missed. A lot of cool topics that you may have missed. And I used to come on this show and I used to come with so many notes. So many notes. I would come with 2 pages full of bullet points to make sure that I hit them all so I can give you all this value. You got to get all this value and all this knowledge. And, I don't, as you can see, use as many notes now. I just come with a cup of tea because that's what I do. But, there's so many things that you may have missed if you tuned in recently, or if you tuned in at episode 10, or if you tuned in at episode 20. So for the next 6 episodes, I'm going to run back some all-star episodes. Only difference being with these runbacks is I'm going to start them out with a little bit of editor's notes. Like, you know how you get a DVD and they got that, the director's cut, and, they tell you what could have been or what would have been or what went into the show or where they are now compared to when that show first aired. That'll be what happens with these 6 episodes. So at the beginning of the episode, I will give you an up-to-date, this is where I'm at, this is some funny behind the scenes, this is what went into it type of information, and then we'll play the episode back. So for the next 6 episodes, that's going to be the case. When we get back after those 6 episodes, we will come with some brand new heat with You Feel That. And I'm just super excited about where the journey is going to take us. You can see it's already brought us to this magnificent kitchen. And I don't have air conditioning in my house, so we're going to go ahead and end this episode because I've got to turn my fan back on. I didn't want y'all to have a white noise or whatnot like that. So I'm super excited to share with you my favorite episodes of the show. Like, we've come a long way. This show has been going on since like fall 2021. And this has been a growing process for me. I know this has been a growing process for our community, and I still feel like we're just getting started. So I'm excited about this next chapter, this next season. So this is kind of like the finish lap on the first marathon and the beginning of the next marathon. And fingers crossed, I don't believe in luck, but fingers crossed, when those new episodes air, we will be in the new studio. So that's absolutely awesome news. I can't wait to bring you all into the new space and with the new equipment, and just, man, there's so much that we can do. But I got some special, when I say special, I got some special episodes planned for you. I got some guests I've already interviewed. I got some guests I plan on interviewing. And if you're a listener of this show right now, you're in a very special place because you are a part of something that's going to continue to blossom. This is a space where we can come and be open, honest, transparent, where we can come and be fed into, yes, by other people who are traversing the world in such a way that they are being raw in their emotions, and they are building things, and they are creating things, and they are contributing and making impact in the world, and they feel just like we feel, and they have process, and they take care of themselves, and they have different tools, and they come share with us, and then we could rally around these tools and implement these tools into our lives. This is something special, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for continuing to show up, for continuing to give me downloads, for continuing to come and listen to the show and share the show with your friends who are excited about personal development, as well as being a good person, as well as taking care of themselves, as well as listening to new stories that they may never have heard had they stayed in the bubble of their existence and where they come from and their culture. Like, this is a special thing, and I thank you all for continuing to create it and contribute to it. And I want to figure out more ways to engage you all. If you're watching this on YouTube or anywhere you can leave a comment at, feel free to leave me a comment as like ideas as to, what you want, what you need. How can I engage you? How can we get together better? How can we put our heads together and make this our show? Because, yeah, Bryce the Third's name is in the title of this shit, but I'm done with this being my show. I want this to be our show. So with that, in this being our show, why don't you go leave a rating and review for our show? Leave me a 5-star or any star, whatever you feel is appropriate review on Apple Podcasts. And, if you like, leave one of those paragraph reviews, one of the ones where you leave, 3 or 4 sentences. Because people looking for new podcasts, they see those 3 or 4 sentences, and that be the thing that makes them listen to this episode. Like, yo, there's a lot of people that really rock with this, and obviously they got things to say. So let me see what this podcast is talking about. So rating, review, stars, and the words. Very important. And we chilling on all the other calls to action right now as we get the show together. I can't wait to bring you some of this new energy that is on the way. As always, be intentional, love on each other, and have compassion for your process. I'll catch you next time on You Feel That? With Bryce the Third.